Okay, so we've created these two actors here in the previous video. We created an actor that is a platform that you can jump on, and we created an actor here that's a sphere. The actor that we jump on has a little bit of logic. It knows how to look. It knows it's supposed to have this flat platform here and this cone underneath it to make it look good. And it also knows how to have a light. So if I jump on top of it, I get a little bit of lighting. So the thing that we're going to do now is that we're going to add a little bit of kind of logic into these platforms. So the logic that we're going to add is going to be the first thing that we're going to do is the most simple one. We're going to make each one of the actors notify us that they are actually in the world. So when the game begins, we're going to have each one of them say, I am a platform. The next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to have the platforms notify us whenever a player jumps on top of them, and then we're gonna add some logic showing add some logic to it when the player jumps on top of the platform, and we're gonna make some modifications then to the platform. So let's start by having all of the platforms, or having the platforms notify us when we start the game. So what we need to do now is we need to go here into the platform to jump on blueprint class. And what we saw in the last video was that all of these platforms that we added, they're all of the same type. So any changes that we make to the platform to jump on here are going to be applied to every single one of the platforms that we placed in the scene. So I'm going to double click here in the content browser on platform to jump on, and let's full screen that. And again, we used to be working here in the viewport. We want to switch over now to the event graph. And the event graph here has, basically what the event graph is this is where we construct the logic that allows this actor to actually have any effect on the world. So we have these three nodes here: event begin play, event begin overlap, and event tick. And these events, these are basically things that happen in the world and allow us to make our actor react to. So if we could just move these a little down here. So if we start looking here at event begin play. Event begin play is the event that happens when the game starts. So if we want this platform to do anything when the game starts, we connect to this out of this line here. So our first goal was to have our actor notify us when the game starts. Basically, when the game starts, we want him to say, "Hey, I am a platform." So we start by dragging here out of begin play, out of this the white arrow here. We're going to drag it out here, and we're going to let go. So when we let go, we drag out with the left mouse button and we let go. It gives us a list of all available actions, and this is a huge amount of actions. So there is quite a bit of kind of parrot learning. You have to, you basically just have to learn a few of them, a few nodes, and yeah, so there isn't really any logic to this right now, but you just have to kind of know it. So what we wanted to do is we wanted the actor, the platform, to jump on to notify us when the game starts. So we're going to use something called the print string. So the print string node, if we hover over it, prints a string to the log and optionally to the screen. So if I play this now here, you can see here on the top left of my screen that there are 5 hellos being printed. And these 5 hellos are each one of these platforms here. So we have 5 platforms. So what's happening, if I full screen, is that for the platforms to jump on, when the game begins, on begin play, the platform says hello. So we can just change this message to I am a platform. and we save. So now we have 5 entries of I am a platform. So every single one of them is saying I am a platform, which is what we wanted. So this basically shows us how we can hook into an event that happens out in the world. For example, when begin play happens, we notify the world, we print a message to the screen saying I am a platform. Okay, so the next thing that we wanted to take a look at is we wanted to take a look at here actor begin overlap. So actor begin overlap basically means that an event when this actor overlaps another actor, for example, a player walking into a trigger. So what this is supposed to do, I'm gonna just drag here out of actor begin overlap, and I'm gonna do a print string as well. So print string is basically just something to help us test. We want to make sure that this actually happens the way that we intended. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say someone overlapped me. Okay, and I'm going to do play. So if this works, as you can see, all of the platforms said I am a platform. But if this works, when I jump on top of my actor, I should see the message saying someone overlapped me. So I'm going to jump here, and nothing happens. Nothing is happening because we're not overlapping the actor. We're basically colliding into it. So we never actually enter the actor. So this event that we added here, actor begin overlap, never happens. So we need to teach this platform to jump a little bit more logic. We need to teach it that there is an area around it where it is supposed to react with an overlap event if someone enters a certain kind of parameter. And we do that by adding a new component to it. And the component we want to add is called the box collision. So the box collision here is, as you can see, it's a see-through volume. It's basically just a box. And I'm going to set it so it's a little bit bigger, like this and like this. So if I take a look here, I press my box, and if I take a look at the details and I scroll down, look for collision, what you can see is that the collision preset on this box here is called overlap all dynamic. So what we've done now is we've added a new component, a box component, to our actor, and we tell, which is configured to send a message or send an event anytime that something overlaps it. So anytime that something enters this box here, we get a message saying actor just began to overlap something. Okay? So now, when I jump in here, you can see the message saying someone overlapped me. Someone overlapped me. So now we've added the logic that our platform to jump on now knows that someone is jumping on top of it. Okay, so these events, some of these events just don't have any more messages. But what you can see here in the actor begin overlap, it has this little variable, and this variable is called other actor. An other actor is a reference to the other actor that entered the overlap zone. So right now we are inside of the platform to jump on, and other actor is going to be whoever other actor actually entered our platform. So what we can do is we can drag out of other actor, and well, we can actually just plug other actor here right into the in string, and it does a little bit of logic for us. So other actor, we get the display name, and then we return, and then the display name goes here into the print string. So what this does is that now, if I jump on top of it, it tells me it's the third person character. So now the platform knows exactly who in the world is jumping on top of it. So we are the third-person character, and so the platform knows now who is the one who's actually jumping on top of it. And this is really useful, for example, if you wanted to make logic where if you jump on top of this platform and you are an enemy, don't do anything, but if you are the player, you're supposed to give him a power-up or something like that. So this is really useful. So now basically we know how to react when the player actually jumps on top of the platform. So we're gonna do a tiny bit more logic. When the player enters the overlap, we're gonna do a little bit of an effect on the platform itself. So we're gonna use a command called set world scale. No, it's called set actor scale here. So you noticed I just pressed anywhere in the world. I'm going to select set actor scale, and what set actor scale does is that it takes your actor, which is here. The actor has a scale, which is the size. So if I change the scale to 2, you can see that my actor got bigger. What I want to do is that I want, whenever a player jumps on top of the platform, I want to scale it up to 125 on all axes. Okay, so now jump here. So you can see that once I land on top of the platform, it scales up a little bit. But I also wanted to scale back down when the player leaves the platform. And we do that by finding another event. So there has to be an event where the player leaves the overlap, because a lot of these events, if they're called event actor begin, there's probably another event called actor end overlap, for example. So I'm just going to right click on an empty space I'm just going to search for overlap. So there's a whole bunch of different options here. But if I scroll to the top here, I can see here add event. I see actor begin overlap, and we already have that. I'm going to add actor end overlap. Okay, so it looks the same. End overlap gives me the other actor, the same here. So I'm just going to select this command here, set actor scale 3D. I'm going to copy with Ctrl+C. I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to set it to 1, which is the default scale. So now, jump up here, and what you can see that any time that I jump, it scales back down into down to the original size. So now we've basically made some simple logic that allows the player to allows our platform to jump to notify us when the game begins. Instead, it notifies us by saying I am a platform. We've created the logic here on actor begin overlap that when something overlaps the platform, it notifies us on the screen by who was overlapping us, who just collided with us, and we scale ourselves up to the scale value 125 on all axes, and then when we leave, we scale ourselves back down to 1. And to be able to get the overlap event working, we added a box collision, and we made sure that the collision preset here in the details was set to overlap all dynamic.